the Athens Democracy Forum. And I don't even know what that means, the Athens Democracy Forum. But this event was hosted by the New York Times. And I just want people to listen to what he said out loud during this interview.
No, I think maybe in a couple of decades, when people look back, the thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And if this was the moment when everything became monitored, that we agreed to be surveyed all the time, not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin.
I mean, wow. He just said this is the moment when surveillance started going under the skin.
If I try to understand and to connect to the deep resentment of people in many places around the world, part of what might be going there is people realize, and they are correct in thinking that the future doesn't need me. You have all these smart people in California and in New York and in Beijing, and they are planning this amazing future with artificial intelligence and bioengineering and global connectivity and whatnot, and they don't need me.
But when you look at Klaus Schwab and you look at the limits to growth and the Club of Rome and all these, their goal is to depopulate the planet. And so one way to depopulate the planet is to put RNA modifying nanotechnology inside everybody. And unfortunately, a large number of people succumb to that.
I just want to ask you, sir, how many people did we see falling over and dying in the streets and grocery aisles throughout America during that pandemic?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can say this, that I know that the models that, said 2.2 million people would die from COVID, those models were false, and they were funded by Gates. And I know that the polymerase chain reaction test, the PCR tests, were falsely calibrated to inflate the number of positive cases. And I know that COVID is treatable with hydroxychloroquine, and it was on the NIH website before COVID happened. I also know that the system and the method for testing for COVID-19 was patented in 2015.
And unfortunately, they were very successful at doing it with the lockdowns. But I just remember as a doctor going, there's ways to fight this. And so at that time, what I started doing was I started inspiring people to take back their health, start getting better physically, mentally, spiritually, start dominating their nutrition through supplementation, vitamin C, D, zinc, making sure that you're getting your fruits and vegetables, eating as organic as you can to decrease toxicity, and just everything you can to strengthen your immune system. You think the government and big pharma just started to lie to us? And they started this during the pandemic? And absolutely 100% not. They've been lying to us for decades. And just like I was talking before we went live, I've been sticking up for medical freedom for over a decade now. And folks need to understand and realize this has been happening for a very long time. That's the scary part, is what do we do? Like, what's the next step? I mean, you still hear about the election integrity and everything else that's going on. There's people being activated. I really do believe that this grassroots army that's growing throughout the country and even the world now is we're starting to see a lot of ordinary people do extraordinary things. And I think we are taking back our local communities, our school boards, our city councils. We are living in the last free country in this world. There's nowhere else to go. It's not like we can swim to Cuba. This is our last stand. And that's why we have to continue to inspire people. We're no longer holding the line, Clay. We're taking back lost ground now.
100% correct.
And this is where people have to know Canada has fallen, okay? Especially with all the censorship and everything that they're doing, that they're making podcasters now register with the government. They're controlling the narrative.
Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21, Matthew chapter 24. So I believe that 27% of the Bible is prophetic and 73% of the Bible is historical. And so I believe we're living through the fulfillment of the prophetic aspects of the Bible. And so all I can say is I believe that the return of Christ is going to happen soon.